Hey YouTube, we're gonna dive into another spicy practice today, but before we do, I created a discount code specifically for my YouTube people to try out the Kula, my yoga membership site where I upload 3 full classes per week, at least 2 of them being 60 minutes long, as well as meditations and some live community events over Zoom and things like that. So if you wanna try the Kula for half off, the code is below, it is YouTube fam. Second thing, I am leading again my January meditation group that is completely donation based and completely happening on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram or you're willing to create one for the month of January and be a part of this private group, totally donation based, no minimum to enter or to join, but a really powerful group of daily live meditations with me, and then they're all recorded and you can watch them back. That link is below as well. I have some products coming out soon and a few other things exciting going on, so follow me on Instagram at Nicole Wild Collective to stay up to date on all of the above. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and flow. Come down into a child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together. Send the hips back to the heels and the arms out long to the top of the mat. Let the heart sink down to the mat. Maybe you let the forehead rest on the mat. And allow for a really deep breath in, and then a slow and complete exhale back out. So exhaling out until you're past the point of what's comfortable and you're really emptying out the lungs. One more time, full breath in. And again, a slow and long and complete exhale out. That's likely something like double the length of your inhale. And let the breath just return to long and even in-breaths and out-breaths. Knowing that we're going to move pretty quickly and we're going to pick up our pace pretty quickly for today's practice. But important that we take these first moments to land and to settle and to arrive onto your mat and fully into your body, finding this quality of presence. And grounding finger pads and knuckle pads down into the mat. Let's round through the back body as we roll up past a tabletop position. Let the hips drop down and forward, thread the heart through, and then bend into the elbows, lower the heart all the way down to the mat. Ground into finger pads and knuckle pads, shoulders onto the back body as you roll back up into this cobra or up dog shape, and then grounding into the knees. On your exhale, roll all the way back into a child's pose. Toes tuck under for this child's pose. You can keep the knees about hip width distance apart. We're gonna roll back and forth 2 more times. So round through the back body as you come up, chin in towards chest. And then once the hips start to drop, roll the shoulders onto the back body, thread the heart through. Chin lifts. Bend into the elbows, lower the heart all the way down to the mat. Press back into the hands, shoulders onto the back body as you lift the heart. Ground into the knees, and on your exhale, roll the hips back to the heels. We've got 1 more round. Round through the back body, roll up. In breath to drop the hips, thread the heart through. Bend into the elbows, lower the heart all the way down to the mat. Press into the hands, shoulders onto the back body as you lift. Ground into the knees, press all the way up. Roll the hips back, child's pose. Toes are tucked under. Let's lift the hips, come straight into your downward dog. Pedaling out the feet. Couple of breaths here. Bend into one knee, bend into the other knee. Shift the hips side to side. Take movement that feels good in the body. And then sending the heels down towards the floor, reach the right hand towards the left ankle, finding a little bit of a twist here. Gaze up underneath left armpit. On your in-breath, we're going to release through center, shift forward, and reach the right hand towards the top of the mat or past it. 2 more times. Shift back with the hips. Right hand reaches towards left ankle. Gaze underneath left shoulder. On your in-breath, shift forward, reach through the right fingertips. 1 more time. In-breath, shift back. Right hand towards left ankle. Find your twist. In breath, shift forward, pause here. Option to lift the left toes off of the mat as well. Starting to build some heat. Drop all 4 hands and feet to the floor. Plank pose, wrists underneath the shoulders. Active press the floor away, little round through the back body. And then from the tailbone, roll the hips back, downward dog. Left hand reaches for the right ankle. Find your twist, gazing up underneath right armpit, wrapping lungs around the heart. On your in-breath, release, shift forward, reach left hand long. 2 more times, exhale, twist. Hips pull back, left hand reaches for the right ankle, gaze up underneath right armpit. And then in breath, shift forward, left fingertips reach. 1 more time, hips pull back, left hand towards right ankle, gaze up underneath right armpit. Shift forward, reach through left fingertips, pause here, option to lift right toes off the mat as well. All finger pads, knuckle pads on the right hand rooted down. Both hands, both feet to the floor. Find your plank pose, wrists underneath the shoulders. On your exhale, slow bend into the elbows. Lower all the way to the belly. Ground into the knees. Lift the heart, shoulders onto the back body. Just as we did before, we're gonna stay grounded into the knees, stay tucked under the toes, roll all the way back towards a child's pose. Then press into the balls of the feet, lift all the way up, downward facing. On your next inhale, sweep the right toes high. Bend the knee to open up the hip. Think of pointing right knee towards ceiling. Step the right foot just in front of the left foot barely. Left toes sweep high, bend the knee, open up the hip. Left foot steps just in front of the right. We're walking our way to the top of the mat. Right toes lift, bend the knee, open up. Right foot just in front of the left. Stick with it until eventually you land at the top of the mat in some variation of a forward fold. No rush to get there. My legs are short, so it's only a couple of steps. Clasp opposite elbows. Find a bit of a sway from side to side once you land at the top of the mat. Drop the weight of the head, shake the head, yes, no, maybe open and close the mouth a couple of times to roll out the jaw. And then releasing fingertips down towards the floor. 1 vertebrae at a time, roll your way all the way up through standing. Arms sweep up overhead at the top, hook the thumbs, open up the heart, little baby back bend, and then on your exhale, swan dive forward, come all the way down, forward fold. 2 more times, we're rolling our way up with breath, inhale, come all the way up through standing. Sweep the arms up and over, hook the thumbs together, engage into the glutes, open up the heart. On your exhale, swan dive forward, Uttanasana fold. Once more, last one, roll it all the way up. Articulating up the spine as you come all the way to standing, sweep arms up and over, hook the thumbs, little back bend. On your exhale, dive it all the way down, find your fold. In breath, just a halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. On your exhale, we're gonna fold, plant the hands, and hop the feet back, but land in a chaturanga with elbows bent. So toes to the back of the mat, elbows bend. Hold. Elbows hug into the rib cage. We're gonna shift from here to a dolphin pose by sending the hips up and back and letting the forearms drop to the floor. So starting to build some heat and some spice. We're gonna move back and forth a couple times. Shift forward, chaturanga, elbows peel. Keep that 90-degree bend. And then shift back, forearms to the floor. Pull the hips back, pull the heart back. Just once more for now, shift forward. Keep the elbows bent, chaturanga. This time pull through to your up dog. Thighs stay lifted. On your exhale, roll over the toes, send the hips up and back. Downward facing. Come up high onto the toes, deep bend into the knees. Step, walk, hop, play. However you get to the top of the mat fold. So if you want to invert, you can always add that on. In breath, halfway lift. Rebound to fill up. Exhale, fold and let it go. Inhale to rise, come all the way through standing, palms touch. Open the heart. On your exhale, fold, come right back down, Uttanasana. In breath, half lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, land in your chaturanga, toes at the back of the mat, elbows bend. Dolphin Pose. As you send the hips back, forearms roll to the floor. Pull all the way through to your up dog, so peel the elbows, shift to the tops of the toes, glutes engage. On your exhale, roll up and back, downward facing. 2 more of these modified sun salutations, just like that. If you want to skip the dolphin, you are of course welcome to. Exhale the feet to the top of the mat, fold. In breath, half lift. Exhale, fold, let it go. In breath, come all the way through standing, palms touch, heart opens. Exhale, find your fold, Uttanasana. In breath to halfway lift. On your exhale, fold, plant the hands, chaturanga as you hop back, elbows bend. As you roll the forearms to the floor, send the hips up and back, dolphin. And then peel all the way through. Find your up dog. Totally cool if you're not with my pace, move with your breath. Exhale, roll up and back, downward facing. 1 more round just like that, or with whatever modifications you want to take. Exhale, step, walk, hop, handstand, however you land to the top of the mat. Inhale, fill up, half lift. Exhale, let it go. In breath to rise, come all the way up, palms touch, heart opens. Exhale, bring it right back down. Inhale to half lift, lengthen spine. On your exhale, fold, plant the hands, chaturanga, toes back as the elbows bend. Dolphin pose, last time here for now, forearms to the floor. And then peeling back through, come all the way, upward facing. Tops of the toes to the floor, thighs lifted. On your exhale, roll over the toes, send the hips up and back. Big breath in through the nose. Open mouth, slow, long, full exhale out. On your next in-breath, sweep the right toes high. Bend the knee, open up the hip. On your exhale, pull the right knee into the chest, step it through. Open it up, warrior 2. Left foot spins flat. Fingertips reach long both directions. Palms come to touch at the heart as you open it up to a goddess pose. Toes point out. Sit deep into the hips. On your exhale, you're going to pivot right knee to a hover above the floor, pivoting towards the back of the mat. In breath, open it back up 2 more times. Exhale, right knee pivots, hands to the heart. In breath, open it back up. This time, we're going to pivot to the back of the mat, right knee to a hover. Lean the upper body forward, twist to the left. Right elbow hooks to the outside of the left knee. Right knee is still to a hover just for 1 more moment. Spin left shoulder open. And then keeping the twist straighten out through the right leg. Start to shift your weight into the left foot. We're going to play with lifting the right foot from the mat for this twisted warrior 3. Lift the right toes even a little bit higher. And then as the right toes step back down, we're coming all the way back, warrior 2. Right toes to the top of the mat, left foot parallel. In breath, find the reverse. Left hand, left thigh, right arm comes up and over. On your exhale, cartwheel the hands. We're going to step the left foot to the top of the mat, find your forward fold. In breath, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, let it go. In breath to rise, come all the way through standing. Arms extend, palms touch, open heart. Exhale, dive it forward, Uttanasana. Halfway lift on your inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold, plant hands, chaturanga, toes to the back of the mat, elbows bend. Option to add your dolphin pose. Forearms to the floor, hips back. And then peel all the way through, find your up dog. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing. Next in breath, left toes sweep high. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Again, think of pointing left knee towards ceiling, squeezing left heel in towards glutes. On your exhale, left knee into the chest, step the foot through. In breath, warrior 2, pivot open, fingertips long in both directions. Just a moment to meet this shape. And then as you're ready for it, goddess pose, right toes point out, sit deep into the hips, palms are to touch at heart. Maybe you take a little bit of a shift side to side here. Again, we're rotating to the back of the mat. Left knee drops to a hover. We're shifting onto the ball of the left foot. Hands stay to touch at the heart. Open back up. Find your goddess. 2 more. Left knee to a hover as you pivot towards back of the mat. Open it back up, goddess pose. Last one, left knee to a hover. Hold here. Maybe you sink even a little closer to the mat. Shift the upper body forward, and on your exhale, twist to the right. Left elbow hooks itself to the right knee. Now, just straighten out through the left leg. Press the elbow into knee, knee back into elbow to traction the heart open, and then start to shift your weight into the right foot. We're gonna play here with lifting left foot from the mat. Finding kind of this twisted warrior 3 shape. Left toes are flexed. Maybe left heel lifts a little bit higher. And then slowly, mindful in your transition, we're gonna step the left foot back down to the mat. Warrior 2 back to the top of the mat. Left toes point forward. Right foot parallel. Reach through the fingertips. On your next in-breath, find your reverse. Right hand down the right thigh, left arm comes up and over. On your exhale, cartwheel it out. Big step to the top of the mat, find your fold. In-breath, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold, release, let it go. In-breath to rise, come all the way through, standing palms touch. Heart opens. Exhale, bring it all the way down. Find your fold. Inhale to halfway lift, lengthen the spine. On your exhale, fold, plant hands, hop back, elbows bent, chaturanga. Forearms to the floor, dolphin pose. Heart back, hips back. And then peel all the way through, slowing down this transition as much as you can. Come to the tops of the toes. On your exhale, roll over, hips up and back, downward facing. Take a big inhale, and big exhale back out. All right, we're gonna pick up our spice level a bit. Starting this flow in dolphin pose, drop the forearms to the floor. Lift the right toes high in your dolphin. Okay, we're gonna play here with bending into the left knee. Right toes stay lifted. We are gonna hop to the top of the mat. So as you spring off of the left foot, elbows lift. Left foot to the top of the mat, right toes sweep high. Bend the knee, open up the hip here. Right knee points towards ceiling. Left hand reaches around to hold onto the right toes. Maybe right hand reaches for left ankle, really testing your balance here. Just options. Release fingertips back down towards floor. On your exhale, round the right knee to nose. See if you can maybe touch the knee to the forehead. And then on your in-breath, grounding into the left foot, we are coming all the way up to standing. Bring palms to touch at the heart as you extend the right leg forward. Right toes pull back. Tall out of the waist, so really long spine. On your exhale, lever forward, warrior 3. Right leg kicks back. Spine parallel to the mat. On your exhale, right toes step back, pivot open. Find your warrior 2. Fingertips reach in both directions. Goddess pose, right toes point out, sit deep into the hips. Just once this time, pivot to the back, left knee to a hover. Spine is tall. On your exhale, twist to the right, left elbow to the outside of right knee, heart spins open. Straighten through the left leg. Start to shift your weight into the right foot. Now left toes lift from the mat. This time we're gonna pull the left knee into the chest. Plant the left foot next to the right foot, so twisted chair. We're keeping the twist. You can stay here, or you could plant the hands off to the right side of the mat for side crow. Knees on the back side of the left elbow. Maybe the toes lift. Squeeze elbows towards each other. If you're newer to side crow, then the right hip could come on top of the right elbow. If you're working on building strength, you could pull it away. We're gonna meet back in our twisted chair pose. So from whatever shape you are in, take all the playtime you want along the way. On your in-breath, release the twist. Palms come to touch at the heart. With an exhale, find your fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. This time on your exhale, your vinyasa. So if you wanted to plant the hands and take the funky vinyasa we've been taking, or if you wanted to add a handstand, or if you just wanted to go through a regular vinyasa, all of those things are welcome. Meet with the hips up and back, downward facing. We're gonna do that whole sequence on the second side. Starting, when you're ready for it, by dropping the forearms to the floor, find your dolphin pose. Lift the left toes high, 3-legged dolphin. Bend into the right knee. On your exhale, we're hopping to the top of the mat. Right foot plants, left toes high. Once you're there, bend the left knee, open up the hip. Option to stay here, or right hand reaches around for the left toes or foot or ankle. Make sure you've got a little micro bend in the right knee so the joint space is protected. Maybe left hand reaches for right ankle. Again, kicking into the hand with the left foot. Let's release fingertips back down to the floor. Take an inhale. On your exhale, round through the back body. Bring the left knee to the nose, or maybe the knee touches the forehead. Stay grounded underneath right heel. In breath, come all the way to standing. Palms to touch at the heart as you straighten left leg forward. Left toes pull back. Spine is really tall here. On your exhale, lever forward, warrior three. Left leg kicks back, spine parallel to the floor. Take one full cycle of breath here. And then on your exhale, bend into the right knee, left toes plant, Virabhadrasana 2. Fingertips reach both directions, shoulders soften down the back. On your next in-breath, goddess pose, again just once this time, toes point out, sit deep into the hips, and then pivot back to the top of the mat as you shift onto the right toes, right knee comes to a hover. Tall through the spine. On your exhale, we're leaning the upper body forward, twist to the left so right elbow hooks to the left knee, and then straighten out through the right leg. Start to shift your weight into the left foot. Slowly, we're shifting forward, right toes lift into this twisted Virabhadrasana 3 shape. Right knee is going to pull into the chest. Take this really slow until eventually right foot plants next to the left in your twisted chair. You might think of pulling right hip and right knee back just a bit to keep the hips and knees squared off to the top of the mat. Stay here or send the hips down to the heels. Hands plant off to the left side of the mat, shoulder width distance apart. And then shifting weight into fingertips, maybe feet lift for side crow. Lift from the back body, gaze out in front of you. And then if and when you're done playing, and I'm not rushing you there, we're meeting back in our twisted chair. Empty the lungs, final exhale here. On your in-breath chair pose, release the twist, palms to touch at the heart, keep the core strong. On your exhale, we're just gonna fold forward, Uttanasana, let it go. In breath, halfway lift, fill up. On your exhale, your Vinyasa. So step back, hop back, flow through. Invert, child's pose, any of the above are options. Meeting in your down dog. And landing here for one long and slow and complete breath in and breath back out. One more sequence we are building on before we start to slow things down. Reach the right hand for the left ankle. We've been here before, find your twist. And then reach forward, right hand extends, hip shift forward, spine parallel to the floor. Step the right hand way out long in front of you, and then left hand comes to meet it. Hollowing out the back body, hollow hold, big long plank pose. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, drop forearms to the floor. And then walk the toes in, Dolphin Pose. Pull the heart back towards the thighs. On your inhale, sweep right toes high. Bend into the left knee. On your exhale, hop to the top of the mat. Left foot plants. Flex out the right toes. This time on your exhale, we're gonna tap the right toes to the right wrist or wherever they land. Kick back up, bend the knee, open the hip. 2 more times. Straighten out right leg. Right toes tap the right wrist or wherever they land. Lift back up, bend the knee, open the hip. Last one. Right toes tap right wrist. In breath, kick up, open it up, and then left hand reaches for the right toes. Come up onto right fingertips. You have the option of staying right here or of adding, I think it's called a dragon squat, bending into the left knee, kicking right leg off to the left side of the mat, and then lowering the hips down towards the floor. Just options. We're gonna come from this shape back up. So re-straightening through the left leg, re-bending into the right knee, opening up the right hip, and then release both fingertips down towards the floor. And on your exhale, round through the back body, right knee to touch the nose or maybe the forehead. Ground into the left heel. On your in-breath, come all the way up through standing. Right leg to extend out long in front of you. Stay here, or on your exhale, half pistol squat. Left knee bends to bring the knees in line. And then all the way back up through standing. Warrior 3, exhale, lever the right leg back. Spine parallel to the floor. Right leg parallel to the floor. Once you've found stability underneath the left foot, like you're moving through honey, slow motion, bend into the left knee. Right toes plant, open it up, Virabhadrasana 2. Straighten through, bend into the right knee. Pivot to the right, goddess pose. This time for a moment, coming up onto the toes, let the heels lift. Sink a little bit deeper into the shape. And then as the right heel drops down, pivot the left knee to a hover, shifting towards the top of the mat. Left elbow to the outside of the right knee, find your twist. Straighten through left leg, twisted lunge to the right. Start to shift your weight into the right foot. Left foot lifts, twisted warrior 3. And then let it be slow motion that you pull the left knee into the chest. Left foot plants next to the right twisted chair. And on your in-breath, release the twist. Come up through center. Slight tuck of the tailbone, core is strong. On your next exhale, find your fold, Uttanasana, let it go. In breath, halfway lift, fill up. Exhale, fold, plant hands, your Vinyasa. Anything you'd like to add along the way, of course, is welcome. One cycle of breath once you land here. We've got one more side, one more time in this sequence. On your exhale, left hand reaches for the right ankle, gaze up underneath the right armpit, press floor away from you with right hand. As you're ready, shift forward, reach the left hand long, and then take a big step forward with the left hand all the way towards top of the mat. Right hand comes to meet it. Round through the back body, hollowing out your plank shape, and then on your exhale, lower the forearms down to the floor. Forearm plank. Again, lifting up and out of the shoulders, take an in-breath. On your exhale, walk the toes in towards the elbows. Dolphin pose. Heart tractions back towards thighs. Lift the left toes high. Bend into the right knee, and then grounding into the hands. On your exhale, hop right foot to the top of the mat. Left toes stay lifted. Flex out the left foot. On your exhale, left toes, tap the left wrist. In breath, kick up, open it up. Left knee points towards sky. On your exhale, left toes, tap left wrist. And then in breath, kick up, open it up. One more time, left toes, tap the left wrist. On your in-breath, kick up, open it up, pause. Right hand reaches up to hold onto the left toes. And again, you have the option of staying right here. Or you can start to bend into the right knee, kicking the left leg off to the right side of the mat. And dropping the hips down. Dragon squat. Meet the shape. And then grounding into the right foot on your in-breath. We're coming all the way back up. Point the left knee up towards ceiling. Release both hands to the floor, finger pads to the mat. On your exhale, round through the back body. Chin pulls in towards chest, knee comes all the way to nose. Ground into the right heel. On your in-breath, come all the way to standing. Left leg extends out long in front of you. Palms come to touch at the heart. On your exhale, bend into the right knee, half pistol squat, working knees towards each other. Stand all the way back up. Exhale, warrior 3. Left leg kicks back. Spine parallel to the floor, left leg parallel to the floor. Last time here, take an in-breath. On your exhale, right knee bends, warrior 2. Left foot plants parallel, back edge of the mat. Goddess pose. Left toes point out as the palms come to the touch at the heart. Sit deep, shift onto the toes, let the heels lift, and then maybe let the hips sink even an inch closer to the mat. Take an inhale here. As the left heel drops, pivot right knee to a hover above the floor. Spine is tall here. Take an inhale. On your exhale, straighten out through the right leg as right elbow reaches for the outside of the left knee. Twist the heart open. Start to shift your weight into the left foot as you're ready for it. So again, taking these transitions slowly. Right toes lift. Finding this twisted warrior 3 shape. Slow motion, right knee pulls into the chest. Step the right foot next to the left foot. Twisted chair. Sit deep into the hips here, and then on your in-breath, release just the twist. Palms come to touch at the heart. Core is strong. Inhale here. Exhale, find your fold. Uttanasana. In-breath, halfway lift. Lengthen through the spine. On your exhale, fold your vinyasa. Whatever movement you would like along your way to a downward dog. Landing with a big breath in, big breath back out. We're going to take one last little heat builder before we start to slow things down. Right hand reaches for the left ankle, find your twist. Shift forward, right hand extends out long. Lift the left toes to an inch above the mat. See if you can pull the left knee in towards the left elbow. Drop the right hand to the mat. And then pigeon pose, left knee to left wrist. Right leg stays extended long behind you. Start here by walking hands back towards the hips if this is possible in your body. If this causes pain in the knee or in the low back, please let it go. And then walking the arms forward. Maybe come down onto forearms. Maybe work your way down towards belly. We're not going to stay in this shape for a super long time, but a couple cycles of breath. Think of sending breath into the places in the body where there is sensation, so likely the left hip. Two more cycles here. And then using an in-breath, let's press back to the hands. We're going to tuck onto the right toes, but then as you lift the right knee, you're just going to pull left knee up to left armpit. A couple of times, we're tractioning the knee up and down the arm. So firing up the muscles in the core. Keep the left knee bent. Find left knee to left elbow. Shift to the outside edge of left foot and then open it up. Side plank on the right side. Maybe you extend left leg long. Wild thing, drop the left toes behind you. Press the hips and the heart high. Open it up. Left fingertips reach. On your inhale, circle back through center. Find your high plank. Wrists underneath the shoulders. Your choice, a vinyasa if you want it, or just send the hips straight back into your downward dog. Last funky sequence, little bit of stretch, little bit of heat. Left hand reaches for the right ankle, find your twist, gaze up underneath right armpit. On your in-breath, shift through center, left fingertips reach all the way towards or past top of the mat. Lift the right toes from the mat. See if you can pull the right knee to the right elbow. And then plant left hand to the floor. Right knee to right wrist, come all the way down into your pigeon pose. Ekapata Rajakapotasana is the Sanskrit name for this one. Same thing, we'll start, if possible, by walking the hands back towards the hips. Again, if this causes pain in the knee or in the low back, let it go. And then as you're ready for it, hands can walk forward. Maybe lowering the forearms. Maybe lowering towards belly. If possible, letting the forehead rest on the mat or on the hands or onto a prop. And then see if you can soften into that point of contact. Last 2 cycles of breath here. And then using an inhale, come back up to the hands. All right, the transition out is fiery. Just like on the other side, we're gonna tuck onto the left toes and lift the left knee. As we lift the hips, see if you can bring right knee to right elbow, squeeze the right heel into the rib cage, and then we're sliding the knee up and down the arm a couple of times. So see if you can traction the knee between the wrist and the armpit without letting the knee release from touching the arm. Pause next time right knee is at the elbow. Shift to the outside edge of left foot. Right fingertips open up, side plank, left side. Maybe right toes extend high. Open it all the way up, find your wild thing. Right toes behind you. Roll the heart through, right shoulder onto the back body. And drive the hips up high towards the ceiling. On your in-breath, last time, unravel, hands to the floor. Plank pose, your vinyasa. Or send the hips straight back. Downward dog. On your next exhale, let's take a step, hop, walk, handstand. However you get to the top of the mat. And then bring the palms underneath the feet. So you can bend in the knees here if you need to. Drop the head so you're not holding your head up here at all. Think of pulling elbows to the outsides of the mat. Heart tractions towards the thighs. The thing that I love about this shape is it's definitely for the hamstrings. That's kind of the obvious one, but we're also rolling out the wrists a bit. And in any fold forward, we are bringing some length to the low back. Gently release the hands. Bend into the knees, sending the hips all the way to the floor. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. Knees wide. Hold on to the big toes here. We're gonna sit up really tall out of the waist. Think of pulling the knees down towards the floor. And then on your exhale, let's fold forward, hinging at the hips to pull the heart towards the heels. Elbows press into the inner thighs, inviting knees towards the mat. And then once again, drop the weight of the head. On your next inhale, come back up through center. I'm gonna give the option to play with one more, kind of more advanced posture, a really fun one called compass pose, and I'll bring it into an arm balance called 8 angle. If you're feeling like you're ready to stretch and wind down our practice, I'll give modifications for that too. Start by keeping the right leg bent and the left leg to extend long. I'm just turning to the side so that you'll have a little bit of a better angle. But you be wherever you want on your mat. Okay, right foot to the left inner thigh, spine is tall. We're gonna start here just by folding forward over the left leg. And maybe this is where you hang out. So this is a place that you can be for the next minute or so on this side if you're not feeling up for some more playtime. If you wanna work into compass pose, we're gonna sit back up tall. We're gonna bend into the left knee, and we're working the left knee on top of left shoulder, or kind of up the arm as much as possible. Right hand holds onto the left foot. Right hand, left foot. Left hand to the mat. Okay, right hand, left foot. Left hand to the mat. Maybe you play with straightening out the left leg. Just options. This is a really fun side body stretch for the right side. It's also totally fine if the left leg is not all the way straight. Okay, last option for playtime here on this side. If you want to take this into an arm balance, left knee is going to bend. We're going to keep left knee on top of left shoulder. And we're going to bring right ankle to stack on top of the left knee. Plant the hands shoulder width distance. Lean forwards, you can lift the hips and then kick the legs off to the side. So elbows are at a 90-degree bend. My gaze is still forward, my chest is still lifted. My legs are wrapped around my left arm, hips back, heart forward, legs to the side. And then we can transition out just as gracefully. So hips to the mat, right knee to bend. Maybe one last little moment in our compass pose. And then release it for the other side. So left leg bends, right leg extends long. And again, we're gonna start here just by finding the stretch. So heart folds forward over the top of the right thigh, right toes pull back towards the face. This might be where you hang out for the remainder of this side. If you wanna play with compass pose on this side, and you might surprise yourself, One side of the body often feels different from the other. So come back up through seated. Right knee to the right shoulder, or however high up you can get the knee over the arm. Right fingertips reach to plant. Left hand holds onto right foot. So lots of lefts and rights. Left hand to the right foot. Maybe you straighten out the right leg. Again, big stretch down the left side body as well as the outside of the right hip, right thigh, IT band. Hamstrings, of course. If you are in compass or not, and you want to play with the arm balance, 8-angle pose, you're going to rebend into the right knee. Left ankle stacks on top of right ankle. Hands plant shoulder width distance, which is oftentimes closer together than you think. Step 1 is to lift the hips back, so you can lean forward and kick the legs off to the right. Again, ankles stay crossed. Elbows to a 90-degree bend. Play for as long as you'd like. When you do transition out, let the transition out be just as mindful as the transition back in. So maybe you come back, do one more moment in your compass pose. And then eventually we're going to release. Come back to the shape with the bottoms of the feet together, scoot towards the top of your mat. And then this time we're just gonna reach fingertips long and use your exhale to roll down the back body, coming all the way down onto the back. Once you're there, keep bottoms of the feet together, interlace the fingers except for the thumbs and press the palms up towards the ceiling. A little bit of a stretch for the wrists. And then if this feels okay, you could keep the hands as they are and just extend the arms up overhead like you're trying to press the palms flat up against a wall above the head. Keep pulling the knees down towards the mat. Low back towards the floor. Keeping everything else the same. Swing the right knee over to stack on top of the left knee. And then with the upper body, take a little bit of a lean to the right. Knees come through center and over to the other side, and with the upper body, a little bit of a lean over to the left. Come back through center with the legs, pull the knees into the chest, and reach arms around so that they hold on to opposite elbows. Taking a really tight squeeze in, thighs into the rib cage. Take an in breath. On your exhale, Shavasana. Legs extend long to the top of the mat, arms drop out by the sides. And as always, if this is the point in practice where you are considering tapping out and leaving the practice, shutting down the class, I ask and encourage you lovingly to hang out with me in Shavasana. This is a really small part of our practice as far as time goes, but it brings with it the most depth, or can bring with it the most depth. Because just as much as this yoga practice is meant to hold us through movement, moving energy through the body and keeping our physical bodies healthy and strong and mobile, just as much as yoga is that, yoga is also this. The pause, the reflection inward, the invitation to explore the depths of self, and to not look away if we find something that we don't love, but to go deeper in. That's the practice too. And we learn that our minds and our bodies and our hearts are not separate, that we are mind-body units, and that everything that you do for your physical body is going to benefit your mental space, and anything that we do for our mind is going to benefit our physical body. So a couple more moments here in silence. Invite in a little bit of a deeper in-breath. Open the mouth, move it through. And start to wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. Movement in the wrists, movement in the ankles. Extend the arms up overhead, kicking through the heels, reaching through the fingertips. And we're going to transition back up into a seat. Take your time along the way and keep the eyes closed for as much of the transition up as you can. You might roll onto a side and pause there. And finding yourself eventually seated, eyes closed. Not rushing to leave the practice, but maintaining this connection that you've created with yourself and taking that with you into whatever comes next. Acknowledging that there is a difference between just moving through our lives and filling our moments with presence. There's a big difference in the quality of our experiences. So with the intention of filling your moments with your presence and your heart, move slowly as you transition out. You might bring hands to touch at the heart, or you could keep the palms resting wherever they're at. And as always, I am unbelievably grateful for this community, and I thank you, and I will move with you again soon. Namaste. Thanks, YouTube fam. Check out all the links below. There's a lot going on over here in this little corner of the internet, and more to come. See you soon.